So today I'm checking out a hydroponic system from one of the Meals on Wheels ladies that delivers food to my dad. So this is her, I think her brother-in-law. So let's go check it out. So this is Mark's super cool hydroponic system that he has. And he's got it layered with different stones that he'll talk about. And you look at all this amazing food that he has. Mark, what was it that got you to want to get into this?
Ready?
Yeah.
Wanted to have a garden. Stores produce normally isn't very good anymore. My biggest thing was I wanted a tomato that tasted like a tomato. So I had looked into doing it in a ground-based type garden, and had irrigation, fertilizer, soil media. It was just going to be problems. So I'd heard about this aquaponics, heard about hydroponics.
Hydroponics, yep.
But then hydroponics, you actually have to feed the water with fertilizer or food or whatever. With the aquaponics, the fish take care of the whole deal. All you do is feed the fish, and the fish feed the plants. The fish water comes down into this rock media here. This is about 10 inches of stone. There's no dirt in the system. And as you feed the fish, they produce ammonia. And that ammoniated water runs into the system. And there's bacteria in here that converts the ammoniated water, or the ammonia in the water, to nitrites. And then it converts it to nitrates, which is what the plants are looking for. So when the water exits, it slowly fills. It takes about 30 minutes for a fill and dump cycle.
Yeah, show the cap there. Put that there. Okay.
Okay. This here is what's called a bell siphon, and all it is a PVC cap or a pipe with a cap, and it's got a notch here on either side. This will be your final water level. What ends up happening is the water's entering the system in behind all the bushes, but you can hear it.
Yep.
And the water slowly builds in this bed of stone. And the water level will come up until it hits the top of that center pipe. That center pipe goes down into the sump tank down below, which I'll show you. As the water level comes up and it gets to the top of that pipe, it starts to flow down, which if you didn't have anything on there, it would just maintain that water level. But with this cap on there, what happens is when the water starts to exit, go down that pipe, it creates a suction, which builds a vacuum in the top of this cap, and it will drain the whole bed all the way to the bottom. Then when the suction's broken, you'll hear it gurgle, the bed's empty of water, the bed will slowly start to fill again. So like I said, it's a process of fill and empty.
And this is your basically your water source, right? Or
yes, it's a closed system. So the only water when I do add water after evaporation or the plants consuming it,
right.
I try to use nothing but rainwater. I've set up this plastic top to actually catch the rainwater, and I have tubes set up so when it rains, the water runs down,
right,
and then it runs into a pocket. I have these straws that drain the water into my system.
Okay.
So whenever I get a rainstorm, I'll just set it up to catch the rain. And the other day I added 3 inches of water into the system from one day of rain.
Nice. You could also probably use your gutter. Have you thought about maybe use your gutters or?
You can, yeah. I got a friend that does that.
Yeah.
He saves all of his rainwater.
We'll do 2. All right. Go ahead.
Okay, so our water from our grow bed.
Yeah.
Every 30 minutes or so.
Cycles.
Dumps into the sump tank down below.
Yeah.
In the sump tank, I've got a 1,000 GPM pump.
Okay.
That discharges out and into the grow bed through that 1-inch line coming up. It also discharges underground up to my fish tank.
Over here, that we're going to look at now.
With the cold weather, I try to
cover up.
keep it covered. I've got a heater, which I have set at 70, trying to maintain.
That's cool.
So it comes up into this tank. I'm going to take the pump
So the clean water is coming back from the sump tank. So the sump tank is the clean water, right?
Yes, it's a combination of, because what we've we've got is you've got your pump pumps out and it splits the flow.
Okay.
Part of the flow goes into the grow bed.
Okay.
Part of it comes up here.
Okay.
Then in here, you've got this overflow.
Okay.
As you can hear the water running in, we can take the lid off.
Yep.
Brings this water level up. It runs out this pipe so it maintains a constant level in here. Goes through this little filter separator that I created.
Yep.
And drains into the sump.
Okay.
Okay, so the water's mixed. Our ammoniated water all ends up in the sump.
Okay.
Everything ends up in the sump. And then the pump distributes it. The pump that pumps out, it puts it into the plants.
Right.
And it puts it back up into here.
You want to take out the fish part? Is that the filters to take out kind of the heavier particles?
Yeah. What we do is
the fish crap?
fish crap and food, exactly. The food they don't eat, and the fish crap. And mosquitoes.
And mosquitoes.
So the water in here comes up.
Yeah.
Okay. And it runs down through this pipe and
Yep.
comes right up through the center.
Right.
Then
The heavier stuff falls down the base, right?
Right, because that pipe in the center is up in here, so
Right.
this cover forces the water to do a U-turn.
Yep.
And when it makes that turn, your heavier particles drop.
So this is really cool. You basically took a bucket,
Yeah, bucket.
screwed it onto the top, right?
Onto a, yeah. That's
And using the physics of how the water operates, it basically pushes the water down, so it doesn't come near the top of the pipe. Or
your water will actually, if I set this on,
Yeah.
got a hole in the center of it,
Right.
so the air comes out. But what it ends up happening is the water coming up through here goes up in, and
Yep.
then to get to the exit, it has to come down and around.
Okay,
And when it makes this turn, your larger particles drop.
I see.
And down the bottom, I've got to set it up for a drain to make it easier.
Yep.
What I do at this point in time is I just take a hose, create a siphon,
Right.
and suck all the
Stuff out.
right, and then I throw that in with my other plants.
Right.
Because it's still a great medium.
Yeah, it's a great medium.
But this helps keep debris out of my bed.
Right.
And because what you'll end up doing over time is goop up your rocks. You'll start to get all those solids.
Right.
Some people don't run filters. Some will put red wiggler worms.
Okay.
They put those in the bed.
Right.
And they allow those to eat the...
And they're very the red worms are very water tolerant, right? They'll take a very wet medium, and they're probably not a bad thing to think about, because it would, adding a little bit more nitrogen and other things
Sure.
from their
Like I
poop.
said, first time out of the gate, I wasn't
Right.
sure, because to clean a bed is going to take a lot of work.
Yeah.
You've got to
So
get
you
all
were
those rocks
trying to keep the cleaning down to the maintenance
out. Right.
minimum.
See how the plants do if I'm feeding
Right.
just mainly water.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
So the discharge from our sump pump
Yep.
comes up and comes into this line right here.
Yep.
And I've got these just to
Aerate it a
aeration.
little bit, yep.
And then I've got a little venturi with a
It's really
air
clever.
jet on it.
Really clever how you're creating the aerator using the little jets.
Yeah, it's just something to break up the surface tension.
Right.
And give
Put
them
some
air.
oxygen in there.
Right. And
Without
then I've got it set up with a heater and a temperature switch that's in the shed that tries to maintain at 70 during the cold.
You know, I've had, just so you know, with goldfish in Japan, I've had my goldfish with the entire thing pretty much frozen, and they've been fine, you know.
The only reason why I've got the heater in here is because there is about 30 tilapia in here.
Okay, tilapia.
And they're very temperature sensitive.
Okay,
At about 55, I guess, they will pretty much die.
okay, all right. Which are the tilapia?
They're
Oh, I
very
see them.
hard to
I
see.
see
They're
them. I
black
just saw
on
one.
top.
I saw them. There's one right there.
Yeah. There's
Okay.
about 30 of them in there.
Okay.
And they're black, so they're super hard to see. The best time to see was at night with a flashlight.
Right, with a flashlight. I see them in there.
But the goldfish, those are feeder goldfish. I bought them at the pet store.
Yeah.
I got them, they were half an inch long.
Yep.
Because they're not made to survive for very long.
Right.
And I put them in here. And
For the fish, for the food, for the tilapia, kind of?
No,
Or-
actually, because the goldfish produce a tremendous amount of ammonia.
Okay.
And so that's what I wanted for a startup.
Right.
And so I had a friend of mine gave me some fingerling tilapia.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Goes to the bottom.
All right.
And the way I've got it set is that this is very close to the bottom. I don't have to worry about it much anymore because
right.
the fish
are bigger.
Big. But yeah, it's about 360.
And that also creates a suction. You're saying helps to create the suction to pull it up under there.
Larger surface area instead of just a very located spot.
Yep.
You know,
yep.
kind of.
Yeah.
So it tends to keep it a little bit
cleaner.
I think. Yeah.
Oh, that is really cool.
By the way, guys.
Yeah, make sure.
Otherwise, you'll be going for another water slide.
That's so cool. So talk about cost and stuff, setting up. What was your, what's the, I mean, I imagine these containers are the biggest expense, right?
Pretty much.
The,
Yeah, and you can.
I don't know if you've seen the big, large, square ones that people use. They carry the, I think there's two kinds. There's food. They carry like, food.
Yeah, IBC totes they call them.
That's right, the IBC totes.
That's a lot of guys build out of those because sometimes they might have access to them for free, or they're very inexpensive.
Right.
And they hold a fair amount of fluid.
Right, they'll carry a lot. You could do 1, 2, 3 back in here.
I wanted to go something that wasn't quite so industrial looking.
Yeah, because your neighborhood and stuff.
My plans are to get rid of the insulation and just do it differently. Put like a lattice work around it, so it's a little aesthetically, it's a little better.
Yeah, you could do like like I have bamboo. You could do like a bamboo fence around it, to make it look aesthetic.
Right. The plan. So anyway, our biggest cost basically was our two Rubbermaid totes.
One there and one there. That's not that's a smaller size.
Same size.
Oh, that's the same size, but in the ground.
I buried it, right.
You buried it. Ah, very cool.
Because you had to have access into the top to do work on your sump pump.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. So you had to have, it couldn't be right up tight to your grow bed. Otherwise you'd never get in it.
That's right. Okay, that makes sense.
So I had to drop it down. Originally it was planned to go lower, but it didn't quite work. But anyways, so it's set there and it worked out just fine.
Okay.
All the PVC is all underground.
Right.
Which, there's not a tremendous amount of cost.
So this pipe is the larger pipe that's coming out there.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
And you actually ran secondary pipe in anticipation for growth? Is that right?
Exactly. The two pipes coming out of the ground, one is discharge from the sump.
Right.
That's going to feed the next bed.
Yep.
And the pipe it's the short one, goes underground and goes up into my sump tank.
Okay.
So when my second bed drains, it will actually go down that pipe and into the sump.
Okay.
So I didn't have to put in a second sump.
Right.
Hopefully I'll be able to run just one.
Right. On there.
And that all has to do with timing and how the bed's dumped and so forth. But we'll experiment with that. In all your stores, it's a very white, mild fish.
Okay.
They serve it at all the restaurants. I mean, it's very common.
Is it called tilapia?
Tilapia.
And so when I go to the restaurant, I can order some.
Tilapia. Yeah.
Order tilapia and try that.
Sure.
Is that the only fish in Florida that they recommend? Is the tilapia versus?
No,
there others?
That's kind of an interesting piece. It really depends on where you live as to what you want to grow.
Right.
Here in Florida, you can do catfish because it has to be really warm water tolerant.
Okay.
Which tilapia they don't have a problem with.
Right.
100 degrees.
Well, if you sank, one thing, if you sank your tubs down there, then wouldn't that help with temperature
it would
a little
help.
bit?
Here in Florida, you're still going to be pretty hot.
Okay.
I
mean, obviously black. I mean, something black.
Sure. I'm on the shady side, but when the sun moves over, this is going to become hot over here.
Right. When it hits over here.
The tilapia are very heat tolerant, so I've been told. I mean, they said the hotter the better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, they just like hot
So that's so winter time is the only time that you've just got to be sensitive with them.
With the tilapia.
With the tilapia.
Yeah. The goldfish, I don't think they care.
Yeah. Because I don't know if maybe wintertime you want to take this off to generate more heat. Because when the sun gets over.
The sun travels here in our location.
Oh, this way. All right. Oh, you don't get the hit.
This is always shaded.
Always in shaded.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad then.
It just works its purpose during the winter.
Okay, so that's just more insulation on that.
Yeah.
All right.
And But yeah, the in Florida, so I've read, been told, so forth, tilapia, catfish, goldfish.
Right.
There's about 3 or 4 species of tilapia. There's like a Madagascar. There's actually a Florida species. I guess this one is blue. There's white. I think there's 4 species. These are, I think, just white or blue. They're just a generic Florida tilapia, which live in South Florida in your ponds and lakes and so forth. Yeah. As you get to the colder climates, I've read where up north they'll do yellow perch. You can do trout. Yeah. You can do whatever your water temperature will really manage. Right. And then I'm sure they probably have certain requirements in terms of air and so forth.
Right.
But overall, yeah, you can use.
Do you see yourself having to put like an? I mean, I actually see bubbles coming up. Do you have a filter? Do you have an air? Oh no, it's pushing the air out.
Right. This is a little venturi that draws air in through this pipe. It's a little venturi. So as the water's discharging, it's actually discharging this way, but it's grabbing air with it. And so it just adds.
That's so clever. Let's take film. So this venturi thing, it basically the air is drawing the air from here.
Yep.
And as the water moves through, it creates pressure, right? And it creates the suction, and it forces the air.
Because your water's coming out these 2 spots, but it's also going out through this black jet down the bottom. And that black jet is a venturi. It's a neck down. Right. What it does is it creates a low pressure around that air inlet.
Yep.
And so as the water passes that inlet, it draws the air with it.
Yeah, because I can see the air going down in there.
It's just another addition to create some aeration in the water.
Right. I won't step in your bucket there. Okay, I missed it. Cool. How long did it take for you to set this up?
Let's see, to build this, we worked on it most of the summer. The hardest part was where we did our grow bed. There was irrigation plumbing in the way and so forth, and so we had to dig any of the topsoil away to get down to the sand for the stones.
Right.
And to get a good base for everything to sit on. I'm going to say probably 4 to 6 weeks, but you're only working on the weekends and so forth. And
it's not bad.
Yeah, once it gets set up, I ended up burying everything.
Is it feeding pretty much? You're pretty much using it on a daily basis now, right? For the food, right? You were telling me about your beans. Your beans have been
beans have been doing very well, and in fact, I'm going to be picking some of those today because I want the younger ones to get some food.
Right.
The onions, we've been clipping those. The basil, my wife loves basil, pesto, a bunch of stuff. Yep. And parsley. We're just getting ready for we've got some decent jalapenos coming in now with a lot of new ones. This is another jalapeno plant here, which is starting to pop some little guys.
Yep.
And the parsley, my wife has cut this back numerous times, and it just keeps on coming.
That's very cool.
So really, the cucumbers, we've got a lot of young ones. Just waiting to get some mature ones. But like I said, the beans
are all over.
They're all over. So I've got to get some of those out of there. The tomatoes are flowering, and we'll keep our fingers crossed and see if we can get some tomatoes.
Now, did you plant these from your own seed, or did you buy seed for the tomatoes?
Actually, I bought heirloom seeds.
Okay.
I didn't want anything that was genetically modified. And I start my seeds in peat moss behind you.
Yep.
In these little peat moss buckets. And I'll start my seeds in there, and once they start to sprout and I can get my hands on them, usually about an inch or 2 tall, I'll take them and I rinse the peat moss off the roots in a bucket of water. And then you just take and move a couple stones away and set them down inside. And try not to crush them with the rocks.
Right.
And it is amazing. They will start to take off. The first ones I put in here, I didn't have covered with shade cloth, and I came home from work and they were just about dead.
Yeah.
We covered them and they came right back. So really, I mean, this basil's been cut back numerous times.
That's nice. Looks like a really nice basil. I wonder if that's a Thai basil, or it looks like it might be Thai. Or
you're not sure. think that's lemon parsley, I think it's called over there. Actually has like a lemony flavor to it.
So you said you shouldn't really be growing stuff right now,
yeah,
technically.
Technically, yeah, because the chemistry isn't right. The water makeup and the nitrates. You can start the system, it's called fishless or with fish. Fishless, you don't have any plants, you don't have any fish. What you do is you actually add ammonia to the water, to the rocks. Okay. That ammoniated water will slowly start to generate a bacteria growth.
Okay.
You can add bacteria to the system, but from some of the places that I've read and so forth, they like you to grow your own bacteria, because the bacteria in a bottle, you don't know where it came from. They want to be happy, grow your own. So just start it from.
Right.
I started mine with fish, which can be tough because they're producing ammonia, and you don't have the bacteria to convert it back to clean the water for them. I was fortunate; I didn't really lose any fish. My levels started to move around. You have a water chemistry set, like a master chemistry set, like you do for pool.
Right. And
you start checking it. Now slowly, my pH is still hovering around 8.2. Because that system was filled with my hose water, which comes from the ground here, which is all lime rock, so you've got alkaline water. Anyways, as I kept feeding the fish, my ammonia levels started to come up. Okay, so they'll keep coming, and then all of a sudden you'll start to see.
Don't move.
You've got your ammonia levels will come up. Then your nitrates will start to come up. That means your bacteria is starting to grow. Then you'll start to see your nitrates come up, and your ammonia and your nitrites will start to decrease down. And so that's where I'm at right now. Right now I have no ammonia, no nitrites, and my nitrates, which is my final good product, is coming out. I've been told by the guys that I know around here that do this, a couple guys, it takes about 6 months to get everything really happy. I've been doing this from October. So February is going to end up being my...
Here, I want to show that. This is how you get yourself. This is a yellow jacket that is just paying some attention. I'm going to try to get her on me. Come on. Without stinging Mark. Mark is the one at threat here. Come here. There you go. She flew off. These guys are really aggressive, and she's flying around us. They're very territorial. Now she loves Mark. I don't know, you want to kill it or whatever. I usually slap it, but there you go. It's dead. Those you'll be around the garden. You'll feel something. You'll reach down. You'll piss it off, and it'll sting you, right?
Yeah. You don't want that.
You don't want that. Yellow jackets. Gotta love them. So there you go. There's the bell siphon kicking the water, and all it's really cool is creating aeration for the water, and this water will eventually make it back to the fish through this pump right here, right?
This pump.
That one right there.
Yeah.
And there's the feeder that's coming in from the fish.
From the fish tank.
Right. And this one would be sucked out on it.
And that goes, the pump discharges back to the fish and back to the grow bed itself.
Okay. Mark.
Very good.
I really appreciate it. He's teaching me how to set this up. I've not set one up, but I'm going to be setting up something like this in California as part of Fountain House. And coming out here and having a live demo and seeing the parts and how they come together is just important. So now we're going to pick some beans, and I'm going to try some of his fish poop beans. I'm sure they're going to be great, because I'm a guy who eats grubs from giant hornets, so I know these beans are going to be damn good. This is John's workstation. I really like it how he's done the... Mark. First it's Matt, then it's Mark, then now it's John. John is my neighbor.
It's all right, man.
He's got all the totes and everything. That's really cool. Has everything up in there. And he's got this... Check out this Jag. What year is this Jag?
86.
86. Wow. I was actually in England. Actually left England. It's the year I left England. And what a...
That's pretty scary inside.
It's pretty scary. Yeah, it scares me from ever wanting to do a car. Wow. But that's knowledge there. Better pull that apart, put that together. That's really cool. So that's really neat.
Yeah, just all the technical for it.
Yep.
Plumbed it all in cast iron for condensate, and all the plumbing runs in the shelving.
Yeah, I love that. With the power, you got the power. I love how you got the power going around the shop. I mean, that's something I'd like.
Yeah.
That's a really great idea for the fountain house to run the power around the workspace.
Gives you access.
Right,
You know.
easy access.
It's kind of like I did my shed up there. My shed up there is my woodworking shed.
Right.
And so insulated that and put plywood on the walls instead of sheetrock, because in a shed you're always banging into stuff.
Yep, yep.
So did the walls all in 1/4 inch plywood. And up there I ran all my wires in steel conduit outside the walls, because in a shed you're drilling in, you might want to hang something, and so you're drilling into the wall to put a hook. I did not have to worry about my wires behind my wall.
Okay.
So it's all external. It worked out quite well.
That's really great. Well, I'm going to head off, and I appreciate the tour and the education, and
Best of luck.
And hopefully, as we move the projects forward here in Florida, I'll have you out do some teaching and stuff, and be some fun. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we're going to be doing a lot of aquaponics, hydroponics. And what I've discovered, I didn't really understand the difference between aquaponics and hydroponics. Well, aquaponics basically is using fish. Hydroponics, you're using chemicals. That's the difference between the two. So we're definitely going to be doing aquaponics at fountain houses, and ultimately I learned a lot on this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you like it, consider joining FoundUps. All my videos are ad-free, and I have over 1,000 videos. So go to foundups.com, click join, and help us launch FoundUp houses all over the world. Maybe you want to launch one. Send us an email if you'd be interested in learning more on how to launch a FoundUp house. The first thing is, to qualify to launch a FoundUp house, you have to become a stakeholder of FoundUps Corp. Thanks. Take care. Bye.